So now we're going to get rocking and rolling. So we're going to talk about how to get your badass life back. And this is going to be really exciting. Please engage with me in the chat box if you want as we go along, because this is going to be a fun ride. So have any of you felt frustrated with your symptoms, kind of like you're being ignored by your doctors, you're alone and you're helpless, and like your mind and body have left you? If you want to give any thumbs up or something in the chat box, feel free to interact. I love being more interactive so that we kind of have more fun. And what about getting tired of weighing more than you did when you were first pregnant, right? If you feel like you want to be happy and not irritable and angry the whole time, like a lot of things can really make you a little more pissed off and you're irritable, and little things can trigger you. So that is very common during this stage of what we're going to talk about. And you may feel like you're stuck in a rut, like nothing you're doing is happening. You go on a diet, you gain weight. You try to do this, it doesn't work, right? So all the things you're trying are just not working. And what about this muffin top, right? Many of us have never had any like abdominal fat. I've always had a little bit of a pouch, but now it's getting like worse, right? And you're like, what the hell is happening to my body? This is not what I thought was going to happen. And I have no idea why this is happening. And a lot of my patients will come to me and say, help me. I have no idea what's happening. And this is what happened to one of my patients. Her name is Ronnie. She's a great friend of mine and also my business coach. And she shared with me a story when she was in Trader Joe's and she was just shopping. And she told me her heart started beating really fast. Sweat was beating up on her forehead. She felt dizzy and like she was going to faint. And she's like, what the hell? I can't be pregnant because, that's not the issue. And what the hell is happening to me? And does this sound familiar to anybody here listening? And if you want to show your screen, great. If you don't, that's fine. Well, I want to assure you that you're in the right place. Because if you're serious about getting your mind and your body back, we have to actually learn why it's happening and what it is. Like, what is it that's causing me all these symptoms and all these issues? And we have to put ourselves first, because as women, we tend to always be last on the totem pole. And if that resonates, another thumbs up. It's great. How about putting yourself first now? Are you guys up for that? Let's do it. And then realize that your health is your wealth. That is, without your health, you really can't do anything. So you can have as much money as you want in the world. You can have yachts, you can have big mansions, but if you don't have your health, you're never going to enjoy any of those things. So quality of life and your health is key. And that's why I'm so passionate about trying to help women get to where they want to be and start feeling their best again. So tonight I'm going to get really briefly about the 4-step process that allows what we're talking about, this, what is it that's causing my body to go through this, understand it, and that we can take control of it. You guys ready? Okay, here we go. So I'm Dr. Diana Hoppe. I'm a board certified OBGYN, and I've had a lot of experience in it. And I'm going to talk about what it is in the next few slides. And I also have written a book. I have now transitioned to telemedicine. So I really have more time now to do my amazing Over 40 platform and do a lot of fun things with my patients that I wasn't able to do before. So it's really, really cool. So my promise to you is that I will be your coach, your mentor, basically your co-pilot, right? Because on this journey, we got to figure out what's going on, where we want to go, and how do we get from where we are now to where we want to be, how we want to feel, how we want our lives to look, and how does this feel like you get your body back and your brain, right? So what is it, right? What are we talking about here? Well, what it is, it's a natural transition. It happens to every woman. It can last for 2 to 8 years. And every woman who goes basically ages to the point of 51 years of age, so she gets to her 51st birthday, she's going to have gone through this. It is what it is. And it's something that our mothers never talked about. We don't talk much to our friends about it. And it's still very taboo and sometimes very embarrassing. And women don't want to talk about how their body's changing and how they might be having some of the symptoms I mentioned at first. So it's really critical that we start really opening up this whole forum of how we can make our lives better and what's happening to our bodies. I love this slide because it shows what's happening with hormones as we age, okay? So you can see estrogen is kind of that tangerine little line, And then progesterone is, let me just make sure I got this all right. So I do it. Yeah. So estrogen's the tangerine, progesterone's the kind of teal color, if you will. And you can see how in childhood, we don't have our cycles yet. We're just getting, we're getting to age 9, 10, 11. And then we go through something called menarche, or our first period, right? And we're like, oh my God, what am I bleeding? This is happening to my body. And our hormones start kind of getting into our bodies. We get acne, we get a hair growth, we get all these things happening. And sometimes we can start having some mood swings and that type of thing too. Well, as we age, our cycles get more regular. So 28-day cycle, we know when we're going to be ovulating. Our estrogen and progesterone are pretty synchronous. They're working together to make it so that you can potentially have a baby if you want to get pregnant, or basically the sloughing of the lining each month, which is your period. Well, I want you to focus on the perimenopause, this part right here. Because when you look at the estrogen and you look at the progesterone, you see how they're not in alignment anymore? They're completely wacky, right? And that's what it feels like in perimenopause. This can continue into menopause, but this is the time that really women are having symptoms. The hot flashes, the night sweats, the mood swings, all that. And it's because of this transition. So we're going from like we were before, like in our teenage, to just start having periods, to a time where we're stopping our cycle. So I hope that makes sense. If it does, give a little thumbs up for me so that we're following this. But it has to do with your hormones. But no one talks about your hormones. So you're like, what's happening? Am I going crazy or what? Well, the good news is your new life begins here. If you really want to make a transformation and start taking control of your health and your life, this is where it starts. And if you actually wait till the end, I actually have something also really good that I'm going to share. So if that sounds good to you, type 1 in the chat box or just give the thumbs up, and that's awesome, right? So if you stay to the end, you're going to get something extra special. So now is the time to get your health. You really deserve taking care of yourself. And now is the time. Some women say, oh, well, someday I'll do this and someday I'll do that. And I'll start this new job when I lose 5 pounds, or whatever the excuse we have. There's no excuses at this point. What we need to do is take control of our lives and start feeling better, right? And I'm going to share with you quickly what is this 4-step process to get your badass body, brain, everything back. So the first step is mindset. We got to change our mindset. The second is hormonal balance. Then we talk about stress reduction, and then lifestyle changes. And when we put all these things together, that's when we finally have the secret to really taking control of your health and getting this time in your life to be a fun time. Make it a time where you enjoy yourself. You actually can spend time with your family and everyone's happier. Because when you're happy, your whole family's happy, right? I love that when the queen is happy, the king is happy. And when the queen is happy, the kingdom is happy, right? And the prince is happy and all your children are happy. So we want to be happy, right? So what we have to do in order to even get to this point is we have to change our mindset, right? We have to change from our thinking from what we are now to a new thought, like, well, I want to lose 20 pounds and I want to start feeling good about myself and I want to feel like I deserve all these things you're talking about. Well, what we have to do is change our thoughts, because if we change our thoughts, we can literally change our world. And there's a great quote from Norman Vincent Peale, who said this, and it's true. If we can actually change the way we think, which we can do, there's actually a lot of research on this called neuroplasticity, and some of you may have heard that term, but it's really how our thoughts create our actions, which then become habits. Well, what if you changed your thoughts? That would change your actions, change your habits, and ultimately change our life. So that's why I start off with that, because that's key for any change is always mindset. Because if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to go anywhere. The second is hormonal balance, right? We saw those hormones going like a roller coaster. Well, we want to make it so you're like this woman on the beach and you're like, oh, I feel so good. The wind's blowing in my hair. I got a beautiful day and I'm not stressed out like I'm going crazy with my kids. I can't think. The kids are driving me crazy. I'm irritable. I have no patience. You have the muffin top. You're losing your libido, mood swings, irritability. you're feeling overwhelmed. Like, seriously, how can I be doing this every day and I can't continue like this? I mean, that's why I have patients coming through my door, well, now telemedicine, calling me, making appointments so that I can talk to them and say, there's ways we can make this whole phase so much better. And that you don't have to be struggling. And you don't have to be like the woman here in the bottom right. Like, you literally want to kill that person in the market who just like cut you off, or the person on the freeway, or the one who came cut in line on you somewhere else. And you're like, I have no patience, but this isn't me. I used to be such a kind of a much more patient, happy, kind person. What is happening to my body? So you're actually not going crazy. It's just things are changing with your hormones. Okay. So this just shows again kind of hormones and the kind of wackiness that's going on. But it's perimenopause. And this is normal. Okay. This is something every woman, like I said, by the age of 51 will go through, because 51 is the average age of menopause. Well, menopause means when you don't have a period for 12 months. Perimenopause is the 2 to 8 years before that. So that's a big chunk of time, right? That you might be having hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, irritability, brain fog. You can't remember certain things. And this makes your life really uncomfortable because you don't really want to go out as much. And maybe you're getting a little more weight. And you're like, what is happening? Well, it has to do with the hormonal fluctuations. And you go to your doctor, right? And the doctor says, well, let me check some labs. Well, you get labs done, but they're quote normal, right? But that can happen, but your hormones still can be irregular. That is, they're not looking at the fluctuations. And what I do is I look at symptoms. I look at what's happening and what part of the cycle, the month this is happening. And it's very manageable if you know what to do and who to talk to, right? So this is the uterus right here. This is the ovaries. And the ovaries are basically talking to the brain. And the brain is sending a signal to your ovaries. And it's getting harder for the ovaries to ovulate, to make the little follicle each month and ovulate. And the brain just keeps saying, no, no, we need to do this. We need to do this. And this is called the hypothalamic pituitary axis. Long word, basically your brain is communicating with your ovaries, and your ovaries are like basically getting more tired, if you want to think of it that way. They're really trying, but you know what? They just don't have the same zest that they used to. And eventually they're going to run out of eggs. So you're not going to make hormones anymore. And that's what happens in menopause. So you also, many women, and I've had this too, this has happened to me with brain fog, and you worry about early dementia, right? How many of you thought, oh my God, I have definitely early Alzheimer's. This is happening to me. I can't remember why I went into the room. I don't know what I did with my car keys. I forgot about that appointment that I was supposed to do last week. Oh my God. Another one is, I can't think of that word. I know it starts with an M and has 2 syllables, but I can't say the word. Well, this is very common. Also, depression is very common during this time. So you feel more anxious, you feel more kind of depressed, and it's kind of like pissy, right? That's just really how it is. And you're like, why is this happening? Well, it has to do again with the hormonal fluctuations, and we can do things to make this so that your brain comes back. I had this happen to my brain when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and they told me to stop my hormones. I was now in menopause, and they told me to stop my hormones, and my brain just went to brain dead. And so for me, I had to put the risks and benefits of hormone therapy into my life. And I realized for me, hormones are the best thing that ever happened. For perimenopause, it can be a different formulation, but that's why you talk to someone who can help you, right? So now we put step 3 in. Well, let's put stress on top of this whole equation, right? You've got the hormones that are causing havoc. Now you got bills, you got work, you got your parents who might be aging, you got your kids who might be going to college, you got their activities, you have meetings. Basically, you're like this woman. And you can relate to this, right? You're trying to diet, but you can't lose weight, and everything just seems like a total mess. Like, really, is this my life now? Has it become to this point that I need to go like that Calgon commercial, like Calgon, take me away with the bath. Like, just let me just go to an island and no one talk to me, right? Because everything is too overwhelming. And it's because all these things have come to like a perfect storm. All of these at one time are hitting you, and you're just trying to figure out what's happening and why. And most doctors aren't going to tell you why. They're going to say, oh, don't worry about it. Just take an antidepressant or just have a glass of wine or just deal with it. Right. Well, I don't want to just deal with it. Right. Most women are going to say, I want more than just deal with it because there's things we can do. And this is one of the things I like to go over is stress and how stress leads to a lot of problems. And so how stress, if we can reduce stress in any way, we're going to lose weight. We're going to get rid of that muffin top. We're going to help reduce our risk for heart disease and diabetes and other types of cancer. So stress is a huge component in this whole equation. And that's why it's one of the steps, because stress is huge. And I think stress actually caused my breast cancer because I was working so hard and I was doing all these things. I wasn't listening to my body. So now I'm a proponent of listening to my body. If my body's saying something's not right, I just don't feel good. I don't have the energy. I can't sleep at night. I'm just not right. Like things just don't feel right. And that's when the lifestyle changes also come into play. Because if we start saying, well, I'm going to eat whatever I want and eat processed foods and eat foods that are like high in fat, like there's ways you can actually eat really good, nutritious foods without having the lack of like how good it tastes. My cat just decided to come up on me right now. So pets also are very, very good for our health and stress reduction, right, Kona? This is my little Kona. So what we talk about with lifestyle choices is how to have a good nutritional base. Like what does it mean to eat right? And what do you mean by decrease the toxins and pesticides in foods? Like we talk about that. We also talk about exercise and sleep. Sleep is huge. If you get good restful sleep, you're not going to have a brain that functions. You're not going to have energy and you're not going to be able to think. So let's say you have a high power job and you're supposed to give this presentation and your train of thought you lose in the midst of a sentence because of the hormones and then you're embarrassed because all the men and everyone, they're like, what is wrong with her? Like, is she okay? What's happening? And we need to feel the best and be our best. And we can do that. That's the whole thing about when I think about my last name, one of my patients said, the reason I loved your program and you as a doctor is that within your name, Hoppe, there's hope, right? HOPE is an HOPPE. So it's pretty cool that I thought that was, wow, I never thought of it that way. We also talk about gratitude and have a gratitude journal and talk about that. The power of community. Women being together within a forum, some kind of community, really helps with bonding and it helps with acceptance. It helps with feeling better. We actually release oxytocin, which is the hormone that is released when you're like breastfeeding. It's the bonding hormone. So when you're with community and you're engaged and you're like giving and you're receiving, it's this flood of oxytocin, which makes you feel really good. And that's with the power of connection. And I do retreats. I'm going to do more retreats, probably more local ones, because sometimes it's hard for some women to take the time for a week to go to Europe, which I love to go to Italy. But, we're going to do some retreats that are more local so that we can really start getting a community and bonding all together. And the real thing is have fun, right? Is life supposed to be just work and getting through the rut and it's the same old, and the doctor says, just deal with it? No, that's not, we're going to do that. No, I'm the doctor now, and I'm going to say, we can do something about this and let's do it. So now is the time to create the real amazing you using these 4 steps. And yet, let's say, I don't know, Dr. Hoppe, I'm not really sure if you know what you're talking about, right? And that's reasonable. But I have lots of testimonials of women who are like, oh my God, if I had known this before, I would have had so many years of being happier, my husband, my children, everything in my life being better, right? And so here, Dr. Hoppe, thank you for teaching me about perimenopause and giving my life back. Literally getting your life back because you don't know what's going on. No one's helping you and you're at a loss, right? That's where the hope comes in. I wish I had found Dr. Diana earlier instead of suffering for so long with all my symptoms. Again, finally, I have hope. Hope. We have a plan. When you have a plan, you feel so much better because there's a plan, right? You're not sitting there going, I'm lost. I don't know which way I'm going. And I don't even know which direction is up or down. But if I have a guide, if I have a co-pilot who's going to help me get through this, guide me, coach me, mentor me, well, then I'm sorry, my cat's tail's in the way. I'm just going to put him down for a second. You're on your way to a much better life, right? And you're on your way to becoming happy. So what I did is I made a transformation course. I made modules because let's say you say, I want more information now because you kind of just tipped the iceberg with this whole thing. And what are you talking about with hormones? And what does it mean with perimenopause and menopause? And what do you mean about my brain and the muffin top? Well, I actually made modules of each of these things because it takes time to understand it. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it in a day. It means you can do it as long as it takes you, but you can actually delve into any of these modules whenever you want. So let's say you say, I want my brain back. I'd first start with the mindset because that's really, really important. But then you could go into the muffin top or you can look at the brain. Like, how do I get my badass brain back? Right? I used to be really sharp. I can't think anymore. What about the bedroom? A lot of my patients, their libido. They're like, I don't care. I don't care what happened to my libido. The last thing I want to do is have sex with my partner. And they're like, I used to like it. Now it's like I could give. I just want to sleep. And that's very common. And that has to do with balancing the hormones and understanding the hormones. Because once you get why, it's so much easier to start working on how to get back on track. So I also have a sixth module that's kick it up a notch because as women, we sometimes start thinking we're losing kind of our badass beauty, right? Well, I have a module about how to get your beauty back, how to feel better in your body. So beauty from the inside out. So how do you make better self-care, self-talk, get rid of that inner critic? How can we use little things to make our skin look better or decrease the aging process and drink enough water? I mean, some of these things are really easy, but we just don't know. They seem so common sense, but no one tells you, right? How am I supposed to know about how much water I'm supposed to drink per day? And how am I supposed to know, exercise that's good for me or not? I put it all together so that you have the modules and then you can start really getting your badass life back and aging gracefully with this module. And that was one of my favorite modules because I didn't know anything about beauty and aging. I am a doctor. I don't know anything about, all these things. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Wow, we can do these home little facial things that are really nice for our skin and they don't cost a lot of money. So it was really, really transformative. So let's say you're like, you know what? I really want to do this. I want to do this, get the modules. I want to start because I need it. This is the time, right? So if you actually decide you want to do this, and there's no pressure, I'm passionate about this stuff, as you can see. When you actually sign on, you're going to get access to all the modules, including the bonus module. And I reduced the price. Now, you actually can look at the value. It's $1,200. But for the full modules, it's $197. So when you think about how much time and effort I did, I want women to have this information. I want them to take control of their life. I want to be their co-pilot. I want to help them feel better and just start living again. Because what is life when you just feel like no one's there and you're just like dead, right? I want to revive. I want you to feel good about what's going on. So it also includes the modules plus worksheets and a lot of stuff. It may sound like a lot of work, but it's really not. And remember when I said in the beginning that there's going to be an exciting announcement toward the end? Well, if you decide that you join before like the end of the call, and I'm going to have a recording of this, maybe give it 24 hours, but you're going to get a 15-minute acceleration call with me. So that means you get a one-to-one call with me talking about what is your main challenge? What is the first thing you want to work on? And then we can start making a plan because you need basically guidance. You want a mentor, you want a coach, you want a co-pilot to say, let's get started, right? Why are we waiting forever to get things done? Let's do it. So if you do decide, you get the 15-minute acceleration call with me and we start working right away on getting things done. So are you ready for the new you? So this, I'm going to go for some questions now, but this is the checkout. So if you do want to do it and join me on this journey, and I will go help the modules with you. We're going to have the acceleration call. We're going to do a lot of things. We're going to basically get a membership going too. That's my plan for the next few months, is having a whole community. But I wanted to give this for women who want to have like a jump start and say, I want this information. I want to know what's happening to my body. And finally, someone's talking about it. And you can take your time with this course. You have it for a whole year. So you don't have to rush through it. You can go back, you can take notes, it's very low pressure. It's basically just getting the information and then slowly soaking it in, because it takes time to get some of this stuff. It's not that easy when I talk about hormones or I talk about some things and you're like, what? Well, you can go back 4 or 5 times and go back and listen. So it's no rush, and you have it for a whole year. So with that, I'm going to see if there's any questions that anyone has. I'm going to open the chat box because I've been talking and talking and talking. So does anyone have any questions about anything that I went over, or a question that I didn't address about anything? And we're going to have a Candle-Ly link. I'm learning about all these new tech things, but there's a calendar that you can then book your 15-minute appointment. And once you sign up, we'll get your email and we can get that ready for you so that you can sign up for that. So we're definitely going to acknowledge that and make sure you get that appointment, and you're going to have access instantly to all of the modules. All right, I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to see if there's any questions that anyone has. And I'm excited about this. I hope you all are excited about it. And there's the checkout link for you right there. Erica also put it in the chat box. But I'm really excited. I think that anyone who shows up tonight means that you're actually taking control. You've made a decision to finally take care of yourself. And that's one of my main premises, is really, it's time for yourself. It's time for self-care. It's time to start enjoying your life and being happy, right? Being happy again and have some fun. Because I think we've lost fun in a lot of our life. So if there's any questions, go ahead, Marty.
Oh, Dr. Diane just wanted to say Trish has raised her hand, so she has a question.
Okay, Trish, I know what, I don't think I see that. So Trish, go ahead and let me know what your question is.
Hello.
Hey, Trish.
Hey, I'm 59 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I had my last period, I think, when I was 42.
Okay, so like 17.
I didn't have any symptoms of menopause or anything. And I was too nervous to go get it checked out because I like not having a period. And so I never got it checked out. And so I don't know why I stopped my period back then. And I never to this day have had any signs of menopause that I know of. So I feel gypped.
Well,
every woman talks about it, but I never felt anything.
Yeah. And there's some women that can glide through menopause. I'm not saying in perimenopause. I mean, I'm saying not a lot do. Okay, most don't. So you're in that subset, that very 1%, no, more like 5-10%, that basically they just don't really have any problems. Their periods are really regular until they just stop. Well, those women who start having irregular periods, things get a little out of sync, they're having a lot of symptoms, those are the ones that I really am trying to get to this course. But this course would still help you understand what was happening to your body. You just didn't have all those symptoms, which bravo for you, but I'd say the majority of women weren't that lucky. And there still are things within this course about menopause, which you're in now, and what are the things you can do for your body that's going to make your health better. So we do talk about hormones. We also talk about food, exercise, health, vitamins, a whole bunch of things that you can still do in your life that will make your life even better. So,
okay. So I guess my question was going to be if I didn't go through all that and I have the bigger muffin top for top, and I have dementia, I call it, the brain fog, and I have a lot of stuff you were talking about, but I'm 59 years old. I mean, is there still time for me?
Yes, yes. What I'm saying is, yes, if you've got brain fog, we can make your brain better. If you've got the muffin top, like I didn't know if you had any symptoms, because you were saying how you just kind of didn't have those. Well, you do have the muffin top, you have some brain fog, a little bit, and that's very common too. And so we will then talk about how do you get rid of that muffin top? How are there ways that you can lose weight? How can you get that brain function back? And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do hormone therapy. There's other ways to get your brain back. And
Okay.
so I talk about that because if we can focus on all those things like stress reduction, exercise, what you're eating, how's your relationship doing, there's so many things we can do to get your brain back and your body back. So absolutely, today I was kind of focusing on perimenopause, but in the course it also talks a lot about menopause and just general things that any woman at whatever age is going to get a benefit from. Yeah, because it's being
Okay.
amazing over 40. So amazing over 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You could be whatever age and we're going to make your life better.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Trish. All right. Thanks, Erica, for helping me. Anyone else have a question or comments or anything they want to add? I can't really see the box, Erica, that tells me if someone's hand's up. So I'm still working on that. You know me.
No worries.
I'm getting better with technology. But step by step. But so here's the link for you. Let's see, everyone put you one because you're raising your hand. Let's see if Janet has a question or if Marty has a question, feel free. This is very.
I don't have a question, but I already signed up. So
You're awesome.
yeah, we've spent time together and you have already helped me drastically. And so just having that community and knowing that you're not going crazy and you're not the only woman on the planet that's feeling the things you're feeling has been a game changer for me. So I am just really excited and I love the opportunity to take my time and go through the session. So thank you for creating a forum for us to realize that we are pretty badass.
You are, Marty. I love it. I just want to take what you just said and just like make it into a testimonial because what you did was just phenomenal. And it's true. I'm going to have a membership class, but we still have Amazing Over 40 community and retreats and things. But then we're also going to have ways that we can have a forum where we can discuss things. And I'll do Q&As and stuff. So it's going to be informational, inspirational, all that stuff. So I think, Marty, you summed it up beautifully. So
I'm excited.
Bravo, my friend. Yes, awesome, awesome. Perfect. I don't know if Janet has any questions or anyone else, but I think what we can do is, I think when I'm going to keep the recording going for those who couldn't make this live recording. And Erica, what we can do is give it for another 24 hours because some women couldn't join us because of whatever life, stress, issues. So if you do sign up within the next 24 hours, you're going to get the acceleration call with me. I know that Marty already did it because she's just on it and she's going to do it now. But some of you that couldn't make the call who still want to do it, I'm going to allow that to happen because I want to be with you and do this. So we'll give it until, let's say tomorrow, like at 6 o'clock. So that gives enough time for everyone to try to look at the recording. And if they want to do it, let's do it. Okay. Any questions, Erica, or anyone else? Erica, anyone put their hand up that I didn't see?
I think we're good right now. And I just wanted to mention, Marty, I will send you the 15-minute accelerator link because I don't think it's in the thank you page yet there. So I will make sure to get that to you.
Yeah, and we're going to get that up. And it's my fault because I didn't put the times in yet. So that was my fault. But I definitely, anyone who signs up will get the 15-minute acceleration call. And then we're going to go from there and build a community. And then we're going to be no one's going to stop us. This is the time. And we're going to do it. So with that, let me see if I think I stopped share. Let me see. You told me now to stop share, right? And I'm going to get back to me here. And I'm going to say thank you to everyone that joined. And again, those of you on the fence, please, review what I just said. Be like Marty and just go for it because now's the time to do it. And no, I'll be there. I'm there. Your co-pilot. I like the co-pilot. I can't really fly, but maybe someday I can think about doing something like that. So with that, I really want to thank everyone for their time being with me. And this will be recorded. You can always listen to this again, but join me in the course and I'll see you then. All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.